Welcome to One Step Better, the podcast where we explore what it means to live well, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. I'm your host, Sam Monaghan, and each week I'll sit down with a guest whose work or personal story will help shed light on the practices that make a meaningful difference to our well-being. This week I'll be sitting down with counsellor and psychotherapist Greg Davis. Hello, Greg. How are you?
I'm good. And
Yeah.
how are you, Sam?
I'm not too bad. It's great to have you here today.
Happy to be here.
Great. So before we jump into things, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do?
Thank you. I am a psychotherapist by training. I specialize in uh, most of the common mental health issues like depression, anxiety, grief. But lately, my interests and focus has been more on helping uh, high functioning professional deal with burnout
Okay.
and stress. So a lot here will be also helping companies to support their employees, especially the high functioning ones, those who end up, giving their all and yet, in the end, almost experiencing very, very difficult challenges in their lives because of the workload and all of that. So I also do couples and marriage as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You're helping everybody.
Well, I'm passionate about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So I suppose today we're here to talk about specifically the idea of emotional well-being and the key to a happy life. So
Yeah.
for you, what does emotional well-being mean to you?
Well, that's a good question. Emotional well-being to me would be one's ability to manage the emotions without it getting in the way.
Yes.
One's ability to uh, bounce back whenever there is any emotionally distressing situations. So, so ability to manage and process one's emotions. Uh, Also in relationships, because relationship can be quite stress provoking sometimes. And also to be able to live to fulfill your life purpose. Feeling that sense of fulfillment that I'm doing something that is brings me joy.
Yes.
I'm doing something to uh, helps me live my life expectation and my life purpose. So that I would say in brief will be what I will call as emotional well-being. There's the issue about it not getting to the point where you're not able to function or it getting in the way of your daily routine or your relationships. Now, when I say relationship, this could be relationship at home,
Yes.
at work, and around you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's quite interesting to hear you say there seems to be two aspects to it. There's the idea of your purpose and there's the idea of those obstacles that are getting in your way. So how would you recommend a person, I suppose, first of all, get in touch with that sense of purpose that they have in their life? Someone who might feel a bit lost or don't know where
Yeah.
they're sort of heading.
Yeah.
How can they find that direction, that sense of purpose?
That's a really good question. It helps to discover it, and one of the way of doing that is, what is it that brings you joy, that you can do even for free. It might not cost money, but you just enjoy doing it. There are people, for example, they just feel happy helping other people, even if they're not going to have to make money out of it. It gives them that sense of fulfillment, the sense that, yeah, I'm making a difference.
Yeah.
I touched a life, or yeah, that was good. So that's one way of identifying that. The other way is that sometimes you might not notice it, and somebody out there could say, "Hey, I think you are good at this. I think you enjoy doing this." So listening to the people who are closest to you and what they think about you. So asking them, what do you think I enjoy doing? What do you think I'm good at doing? And that can help you a lot. Sometimes it could also be just having this inkling desire. It could be something that you're passionate about. It may pay you money, and that's good if you're If you know, if you make money from what you're passionate about, that's great. So it could be something that you just are passionate about,
Yes.
and that's another way. So it helps to take an inventory of your life. You know.
And it's interesting as well to hear you say that about, if it's great if you can make some
Yeah.
money from it, because I
Yeah.
suppose I feel like in sort of today's society there's
Yeah.
maybe a conflation between who you are and what you do.
Hmm.
Like your job, like how your job might define you as a person.
Yeah.
And as you say, your purpose doesn't necessarily have to be in your job, or it doesn't have to be how
No.
you make your money.
No.
I think that's a very, very interesting point.
Absolutely. So, your job could be, your occupation, just what pays the bill,
Mm.
and that's why sometimes you go to some workplaces, you find people who, you know, they occupy high paying roles, but still they don't feel fulfilled. But the problem is that sometimes people over identify with their roles in work.
Mm.
If you lose that job today, imagine what does not just to the loss, but the loss of identity, the loss of value,
Yes.
the loss of self-worth. And I've helped a lot of clients. I used to work in the EAP, which is Employee Assistance Program. So we help employees of most of the big multinationals in Ireland.
Yes.
And you could see the difference. People who feel that who come in and say, "Oh, it's just a job." It means there's something else that gives them that sense of value, that sense of self-worth. As against, so who are you? Well, I'm the CEO of this, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when that is what defines you,
Yes.
then the lines have been blurred. Then your values then are now measured by your valuables, and they cannot be separated. But they're two different things.
So you consider maybe that distance from your job or your role within work as being sort of a healthy attitude to take with you or to have going into it.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what we're talking about boundaries here.
Yes.
And when I talk about boundaries, what I simply mean is that boundaries for me are the rules, the limits, and the expectation that you set within a relationship. And that could be workplace relationship, it could be home and family relationship, but you set those rules and limits. And what I mean by that is that you should be close enough to love or do what you do, but distant enough to care. So especially with workplace, if anything happens, if you don't get that promotion, if you don't get that bonus, if you don't get that recognition in work, and that's all that it is for you, you can imagine the emotional impact, the adverse impact that can have on you.
Of course, yeah.
So yes, give it all your best. Go out there and give it all your best, but know that it is a means to an end. Is that correct?
Yes.
It is a means to an end. It is not, it should not be your whole life. The moment it becomes like that, you begin to neglect other important aspects of your life. It could be your self-care, it could be your relationships, it could be your health, it could be other things, because you invest in what you think is the most important thing to you. But there should be a balance.
Yes.
I say it's like a wheel. If any of the spoke is longer than the other, that wheel cannot roll effectively. If any of the spokes is shorter, the wheel cannot function. So you need a balance so that thing can roll nicely.
Yes. It's very interesting. So I suppose the going back more directly to the idea of well-being, as you say, it's about that balance. So is there maybe in your practice with your clients or with the companies that you work for, are there any particular issues that arise again and again?
Yeah, I mean
that are sort of blocking people from having that balance or taking care of their well-being.
How many hours do we need? A lot.
Yes.
A lot. There are several aspects. So one is a lack of. Let me put it this way: the research is very clear that a person's social connections and social support system contributes to 1/3 of their well-being,
Mm.
and that's serious.
Yeah.
The kind of friends relationship, it could be romantic relationship that you have, even workplace friendships that you have, they play a huge part in the person's well-being. So one of the most important thing is, if you're not investing in your most important relationships, you could be on the path of having serious problems of your own emotional well-being.
And is that relationships in every sense? So let's say relationship with work colleagues, maybe
Yeah,
a romantic partner or
yeah,
friends or parents or
family.
siblings,
Yeah,
everything. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
absolutely. Apart from that, person's self-awareness.
Mm.
Self-awareness is also another one. Being aware of how you impact other people, or what is going on around you, and being aware of your own emotions,
Mm.
and being able to label them. Okay, I'm getting stressed. I need a little bit. I need to catch my breath here. Knowing that is important. The other one I would say would be emotional regulation. Not there are people who are very passive.
Mm.
And by passive I mean that they are more interested in, they focus on the other people's needs and neglect theirs. So even if a boss is piling up workload because they will not talk,
Mm.
they keep doing it. Then we have the other end, which is the aggressive um, um, communication type, bursting out angry and all of that.
Yes.
Exactly.
I've had a boss like that. Don't worry. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. And then, of course, we have in between the two, we have the passive aggressive.
Mm.
Okay, no problem. I got you. I understand. You know the person is saying all that, they're gritting their teeth at the same time. So, so that is also there.
Yes.
And then we have the healthy one, which is the assertive response.
Mm.
So you are mindful of your own need, you pay attention to your needs, and also you respect the other person's needs. So that's part of self-awareness. Also knowing what to do when you're having all these challenges, which is emotional regulation issues as well. And the other one is not setting proper boundaries.
Mm.
If your boundaries are too porous, it means, especially for example, if you're in the office or home, you could be on your work and your colleagues and your manager keep coming every now and then, and you say, oh yeah, yes, I'll do it. This person asked you. You leave your work and you go helping everybody else while yours is undone.
Yes.
So while everybody is closed and gone home or logged off their computer, you haven't finished your work yet.
Mm.
And you still have to be there. So that is a very porous boundary.
Yes.
Or having a boundary that is too rigid.
Mm.
So people are not even scared of you. Hey, you better watch out of Greg, man. It's like a mine. It's like a minefield,
Yeah.
Or you're walking on you have people walking on eggshells around people, and all of that. And then we have the healthy one where you can swing in between, adaptable.
Yes.
All of that play a role, and other behaviors such as poor sleep,
Mm.
not sleeping properly or having adequate sleep. We say 7 should be the minimum, 8 would be ideal, 9 should be the maximum.
Okay.
So
actually, too much sleep can be detrimental.
Oh, absolutely. Too
Okay.
much sleep. Then the study shows that too much sleep can even cause other problems such as depression and other things as well.
Mm.
Yeah. And by the way, you can what's the word? You can sleep to make up for the sleep you didn't have the previous day.
Oh, sleep debt.
Exactly. Exactly. You can go pay your sleep debt. It's gone. It's gone. So poor sleep, poor diet, eating late
Mm.
and stuff like that, or just those frozen pizzas every now and then to the microwave. So all of that, lack of physical activity, physical exercise, and all of that do have an impact on how we process our emotions and all of that.
So it's very much mind, body, and spirit
That's
in that
it.
sense.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go. Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. I suppose I want to touch on something specific that you said, because I hear a lot of people always talking about the concept of boundaries.
Yeah.
And I suppose it would be great to have maybe some clarification on what we mean by a boundary.
Yeah.
I've heard a boundary used in several different ways, sometimes in a conflicting sense.
Yeah.
There are some people who believe that I set a boundary and I'm telling you to do something, and then there's people who say I'm setting a boundary and that's them saying they're going to do something.
Yeah.
So can you give us maybe a bit more clarification on what a boundary is?
Okay, absolutely. We all do have needs just as everybody else. Somebody say your needs, your right ends where mine begins. You know, and and our needs overlap.
Yes.
Okay, and so again, so as I said, for me, boundary is understanding myself, knowing how much I'm able to do. Let me disclose here. I do have an invisible disability. You can see I have all these stuff on me to label myself.
Yes.
So I have what we call Addison's disease.
Okay.
My body does not cope with stress. It could be fatal if I don't take care. So I need to know when to say no. Not no because I want to prevent somebody. No because I need to preserve myself. Initially, it was difficult. I was one person who could go any length for others. And then when it's all said and done, then I'll be struggling when nobody is there and it's left with my close family members who see how I struggle. And that's not fair to me. That's not fair to those closer to me. And that's not also fair to the people who are asking for help, but they don't know my limits.
Yes.
So it's then behoves me. It's my responsibility to let them know that this is how much I can do. This is how far I can go.
Yes.
If I don't say it and I keep taking on the load because I'm afraid of what somebody might think or say, if something happened later, they will say, why didn't you tell me? And then they'll feel guilty, they'll feel bad.
Yes.
So boundary will be me knowing my strengths, my weaknesses, me doing a SWOT analysis of me.
Yes.
Okay? It also includes knowing the opportunities and the threats. Knowing my strengths, knowing my weaknesses, knowing the opportunities here will be, who can I ask for help from when I need help? And all of that. And being able to speak up. Now, as I said, boundaries can be very porous.
Yes.
Now, porous here means that it's too flexible and anybody can come in. It's something as simple as you're going to bed. Now you know sleep is healthy. It's very, very important for your mental health and well-being. But somebody calls you 11 p.m. because it's summer. And you're afraid to say no. So you keep them on the phone. They're like, oh, yeah.
I know it.
So it's saying, oh, hey, I'm in bed now. Would it be okay if I called you first thing tomorrow morning if we can talk about it? That's you setting boundaries.
Yes.
Now, so if your boundary is too porous, you need to make it a little rigid so that boundary could be set to preserve yourself.
Yes.
And also if it's too rigid, you make it a bit flexible, porous, because you need people around you and people need you. Like I said, 1/3 of our mental health and well-being comes from our relationship with others. So it's not just about you. So, oh, this is what I want and I'm done with you. I don't care. You can go to hell. Stuff like that. No, you are destroying the people who care about you.
Yes.
So it's about the balance, setting the limits, knowing the limits, and setting the expectation for others that this is so that when they know about your boundary, they say, oh, no, don't push Greg because you know that, he cannot handle this. So unfortunately, though, and I'm very much aware of what you're saying, that a lot of people throwing the word boundary left and right. And it's about, I'm setting this boundary for you. No. So when we become more self-aware, we will be respectful of ourselves and other people's boundaries as well.
Yes.
The last thing I just want to say about boundary too is that somebody with a healthy boundary can say yes when they need to, and they can say no when they have to without feeling guilty about it. because they know it's for something important. Now, when you say no to somebody, you don't just say no. You offer an alternative.
Yes.
Like I said, oh, listen, it's a bit late now. Can I call you first thing tomorrow morning? That's me saying I'm respecting my need and I respect your need as well. So can I call you tomorrow morning? Somebody with a very porous boundary will say, oh, listen, Sam, maybe you need your car today. Then the calls you, can I get your car? Can I use your car this afternoon? Somebody with a very porous boundary and very passive will say, oh, okay, would you like me to fuel it for you? Can I fill it with some fuel for you? And instead of saying, oh, listen, I'm at a studio, I'm doing something, I'm going to need it.
Yeah.
But I can drop it off to, over to you when I'm done. So whenever you set the boundary or you say no to somebody, offer them what?
An alternative.
An alternative.
Yes.
So that you keep that healthy relationship going.
It's a really beautiful way of putting it. I suppose the idea of setting a boundary is an act of advocation for yourself.
There you go.
And an advocation for your relationship with the other person to say, I can only show up for you in the way that I can show up for you, and communicating that to the other person. And at the same time, not letting maybe someone walk all over you or take advantage of you, beyond what you're able to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you don't mind me asking, how has hearing you speak and sort of talking about the Addisons that you have, is that something that has really influenced your perspective as a psychotherapist and a counsellor? How has that changed your own outlook in your practice?
My goodness, it has greatly. It's one thing when you have all the techniques and experience. I have had to sit on the other end as a client.
Yeah.
Because this took years. So I had what we call cushion syndrome. I was just piling on the weight without understanding what was going on. It took several years to be diagnosed, and I had to go through surgery. So my left and right adrenal glands have been removed. So which means that I don't have cortisol and I don't have aldosterone. Now, cortisol is a stress hormone.
Yes.
That helps us to, when we have the trigger, the fight, flight, or freeze response. This is what helps us. I don't have it.
Oh, so some people might think that's great.
Oh gosh, yeah, I wish. Yeah. But this simply means that anything that affects you, myself, so imagine you and I jump from an helicopter. You have a parachute, and I just crash land. So if you have a fever, or you throw up, or maybe there is even heat. Like recently when we had 26 degrees, that's a death sentence for me.
Wow.
You will cope because the body will produce cortisol and adrenaline to cope with it. I wouldn't dare.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Exactly.
So it can affect you in ways that we don't even realize.
What I think it has done is helped me to become more compassionate, more empathetic, more understanding. Because you see somebody there on the street and you wonder, why is this guy putting on so much weight? You have no idea of what underlying condition they're dealing with. Or you see somebody say, I'm tired. By the way, when I was before I went through the surgery, I had what we call Cushing syndrome, where Cushing is like the flip side because my body was overproducing cortisol. So I was caught up in this fight, flight, or freeze response all the time.
Wow.
So I experienced anxiety, depression, and all of that. I went for therapy. My therapist told me something. I said something to my therapist, and he said, oh my gosh. There's a reason why I insist a lot of the time when I think that what the client is bringing is severe, I say, you know what, why don't you talk to your GP? One of the first things I hear is, oh, they're going to give me medication. I said, they can't force you to take medication. If you have any concerns about medication, have a chat with the GP. Because you could be having these symptoms, which could be some hormonal or something issue, which therapy may help to understand some coping techniques, but it doesn't take away the problem. So it's one of the ways that it's helped me in my practice is that whenever I have clients, whether it's couples therapy or even people experiencing burnout and all of that, I approach all of this very holistically. I do, assessment to check their stress level, to check their anxiety, whether they have depression and all that, even if it's relationship issue.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, we're talking about emotional well-being. Stress has huge impact on the quality of the relationship. Something that somebody would have just glossed over, laugh it off, suddenly they get triggered.
Mm.
So it has helped me to look beyond the symptoms.
Yes.
It's helped me to collaborate with doctors to look and check whether there are any, medical or whatever issues there as well.
That's incredible. So I suppose in a sense, it's been a gift in that sense.
It has been.
Yeah.
It has been, and it has helped me to also understand boundaries even a lot more.
Mm.
I used to want to keep going for clients, but I need to also understand my limits so that next time I'll be in a much better place to help, help them.
Yes.
So that I wouldn't be doing that under stress. It's not healthy. It's not helpful to the client, nor to myself.
Mm. So do you believe then that empathy in and of itself is a I don't want to necessarily say a cure, but is something that can help someone in their emotional well-being, having empathy for themselves or empathy for those around them, in being able to tackle that stress or tackle, those obstacles that might get in the way of that.
Sam, do you know what happens? A lot of times, I notice a lot of people are good.
Mm.
People will be, for example, if I say, "Oh God, I had such a tough time for my manager today. We're very stressful." What would you say?
I'm really sorry to hear
exactly. That's what we say. We care about other people.
Mm.
So, but when it comes to ourselves, we wouldn't say, "Oh, Greg, I'm sorry you're going through this." There's hardly much self-compassion.
Yes.
It's key. Self-compassion is another way of being, empathetic towards yourself, being understanding. And I have to learn that several times when I'm not able to work, when I wasn't working, and I have to take time off, and I'm like, "Oh gosh." But then I have to remind myself, "Hey, you're going through something monumental. This is something significant.
Yeah.
You need to take it easy." What would I say if it was a client? One of the questions I do ask my clients is, give me the first name of your best friend. Now, let's say Sam. Okay. If Sam was going through this same thing, would you keep telling Sam, push through it, go harder? Or, I'm sorry you're going through this. Maybe you just need to mind yourself a little bit. Pace yourself. What can I do to help? So, self-compassion, empathy is really very important in managing our own stress and emotional well-being as well. You can't give what you don't have, but a lot of the time people perform magic. They keep giving to others over and over and over again, overlooking their own needs.
Yes. Yeah. It's tough, I suppose. I suppose in sort of piggybacking off of that, in the sense of how you connect with other people or having that empathy. I feel like today we live in quite a digital age.
Yeah.
So let's say in the personal, maybe the work environment, there's a lot more people are working on teams. We're not in offices anymore. Or again, maybe sometimes we don't get to hang out with their friends. We might have a Zoom meeting. I know I have friends who like to play board games online and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you see maybe a limitation in the sort of in how we connect digitally versus in person?
Yeah, absolutely. It happens all the time.
Because I feel like so much is lost in translation when you're communicating digitally. If it's, let's say, if it's only on the phone, you might lose the body language.
Yeah.
There's so many ways in which we can communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And a person can feel quite isolated.
Yeah.
Even still.
Yeah. Yes. You're so right. You're so spot on there. I think we said about 66% of the meaning of what they said is in the body language. And when you're not connecting with your colleagues and all of that, there's a huge bit that is lost.
Yes.
There's a lot of isolation. So the true sense of connection is not there, and you see people feeling isolated and lonely. And I say loneliness is that longing for belonging. You know, you're longing to belong.
Yes.
That connection is in there. You know, for example, in the workplace, going for lunch, sitting together. Hey, I'm going to pick up something in the shop. Anybody want something? Or getting a cup of, you know, these are things that create that bond, that create that quality friendship.
Yes.
And by the way, the study shows that workplaces where employees feel that they have friends in those workplaces, productivity goes up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's very, very clear. You know, when people develop healthy relationships, you know, feel like this is my friend, this is my buddy, you know, and we can even check on each other after work and stuff like that. Those companies benefit a great deal. Productivity goes up, loyalty, you know, increases. In fact, you know, employees, what's the word for it? Turnover or something. When
Yes, the turnover
is a turnover, exactly. It's low because people stick to the workplace because of the relationship, the bond that they have. So if that's not happening, that's a problem. So COVID and all of that has caused a lot of this from happening. Apart from all of that, the study is also very clear. Excessive screen time leads to, you know, sedentary issues, you know, things like the physiotherapists are making a lot of money these days because of the backache,
Yes.
you know, for the long sitting.
Yeah,
you
tech
know.
neck, as they call it.
Exactly, the
Yes.
tech neck, absolutely. And excessive screen time also disrupt the circadian rhythm.
Okay, the blue light and all that
Exactly.
from the screens. Yes.
Absolutely, because cortisol is a daytime hormone that helps you to go up and down and all of that. But excessive screen time affects the body's ability to produce melatonin, which is the nighttime hormone, the sleep hormone.
Yes.
So you notice that lately people wake up at 2, 3 a.m. and they can't sleep. Or they wake up and they're exhausted because of the screen time. But if you're in work, you know, your colleagues stopping by and, you know, getting people, even sometime at home, people sitting there around their desk and have lunch. All of that very unhealthy, you know, lifestyle that affect our emotional well-being.
Yeah. Wow. It's we've talked about a lot here now. We've talked about sort of having that balance of mind, body, and spirit. We've talked about boundaries. Excuse me. We've talked about sort of managing our stress levels and loneliness. For someone who maybe is in it right now, someone who is who doesn't have that balance, who hasn't set those boundaries, who is feeling lonely and lost, you know, there's so much to contend with. There's so much to untangle and try and make sense of and help find their purpose.
Yeah.
How would you recommend someone make that start? How do they figure out where to start when there's so much to, you know, really stay on top of?
Yeah.
You know?
That's a good question. First and foremost, acknowledge that something is going on with you and it is valid. Acknowledge is the first step, knowing, even labeling what you're going through. You know, maybe I'm dealing with chronic stress, or I'm experiencing burnout, or I'm sad, or I think I'm, you know, even calling it, I'm experiencing low mood. I'm tired. Oh, I'm fatigued. I'm worried. Label it. So take time, be aware of what is going on, label it, acknowledge that there's something going on here and it's not great, label it. Next thing is, if my best friend was in this situation, what would I say to them?
Yes.
That would be helpful to them.
To be self-compassionate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So being self-compassionate. And then what else? Would I suggest to them to talk to someone? Would that be good? Yeah. Would I suggest to them to take a break? That would be a good start.
Yeah.
Would I suggest to them, look, have a chat with your GP or a trusted friend, just opening up to somebody. Even if the problem will not be fixed, the research is very clear. Just talking to somebody and being listened to compassionately, it's very, very powerful. Well, that's why I have a job.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. Another thing that could help is journaling.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a. I hear a lot of people talking about the power of journaling,
Oh my goodness, yeah.
and I know for maybe people who don't do that,
Mm-hmm.
it can seem like a daunting task. What do I
Yeah,
say? What do I write?
yeah.
How do I approach it? How would you suggest someone approach something like
So
journaling?
so journaling, I suggest a simple way.
Mm.
What's the situation right now? So first situation, I'm a very CBT person, so cognitive behavior therapy. So it means that
Okay.
thoughts affect the way we feel, and the
Mm.
way we feel affect the way we behave, and all of that. So situations trigger thoughts. So simply, the simple one. Sometimes we have just the narrative one. Just write
Mm.
whatever comes. Just
Free form.
just free form, just flow, as if
Yes.
you're talking to a friend.
Okay.
So that's one. The other one I would suggest is, what's the situation right now? So situation, maybe it's a lot of workload. I'm having headaches, or I'm constantly having this migraine. Okay, what am I thinking or imagining about this situation?
Mm.
Am I thinking this is never going to be over? Because the way we think, in fact, I forgot to say this. Our our emotions are determined or triggered by our cognition. So thought determines feelings.
Okay.
So anytime you notice that you are low, or you're feeling anxious, ask yourself, what thoughts are going through my mind right now? What am I thinking or imagining? In fact, the good book says, as a man thinketh, so is he.
Mm.
So you are what you think. From the moment you wake up in the morning, everything that we do is driven by our thought. Oh, it's 6 a.m. Wear my slippers. Then the mind tells you go to the bathroom or go to the kitchen. So you run on your thoughts. So it's important to ask yourself, what thoughts are going through my mind right now? And then, how is this thought making me feel?
Mm.
So even just putting that down, what would I say to my best friend if they were going through this? What would I advise that they do?
Mm.
Where can I get help? What can I do today to help me reduce this?
Yes.
If it's issue at work, do I need to talk to a colleague? Do I need to talk to my manager? That this is how I'm feeling. And remember, I always love what I call the emotionally focused communication. So instead of saying that you made me angry because you yelled at me, you change that. If you do that, it may come across as what? Blaming. So you say,
Yes. Yeah.
I feel upset or I feel angry when I get yelled at.
Mm. You have to take ownership over that feeling.
You take ownership of that feeling.
Yes.
And nobody can take that away from you.
Mm.
So you use I statement more than you use a you statement, because a you statement will be blaming. You
Okay.
yelled at me, you hurt my feeling. So I feel hurt when you yelled at me. So, and a good human being will not say, no, you shouldn't feel hurt.
Mm.
That would be another form of what? Psychological invalidation or
Yes.
emotional invalidation. And that would be very unhealthy. So just simply put, do all of this. Write down the things that are causing these things for you. Take a break.
Mm.
Step out there, go for a walk. The weather is great these days, Irish weather. I don't want to jinx it, but the weather is great these days. And the study is clear, just being in nature,
Yes.
being in a green wooded space.
And we have plenty of that in Ireland.
I mean, come on, in the neighborhood, we have loads of that.
Yes.
Loads of that. And, we do complain about the health system in Ireland.
Mm.
But are you aware that Ireland has one of the highest longevity in Europe?
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. No.
Yes.
Wow.
Ireland has one of the longest longevity in Europe. And I try to just explore that. And it also has to do with the fact that we have a lot of greenery around us. Mm. And the study is clear. Neighborhoods have to have a lot of trees. People, they live longer.
Mm.
And there's a scientific basis for that. Trees have what we call phytoncides. And when you breathe in you go to these green areas, what happens, the phytoncides actually reduce our sympathetic nerve activity.
Mm.
So the fight, flight, or freeze is reduced. Your cortisol level is brought down. And then activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of the brain that triggers that feeling of, it triggers calm, rest, improved sleep. and all of that. So just being in nature, be very intentional about scheduling things you enjoy doing. And I'm not talking about, boozing all the time and all of that, but healthy and wholesome stuff, hang out with friends, go swimming, even if you want to play video game, not too much so it get in the way.
It needs to be an intentional,
very, very intentional
practice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really fantastic. Greg, I'd really like to thank you so much for being with us here today and sharing your expertise. It has been an absolute joy speaking with you today, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam.
For everything.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That's the end of this episode of One Step Better. I'd like to thank our guest, Greg Davis, for all of his helpful insight. I'd also like to encourage you to check out our socials, Hope Media Ireland, and our website, hopemedia.ie, for more content. Thank you.